Assalamu alaikum and hello to my non-Muslim viewers. Today is going to be a video about Nabeel Qureshi. For those of you who don't know who Nabeel Qureshi is, basically Nabeel Qureshi is a Christian apologist. He's an alleged apostate from Islam, from Ahmadi Islam and he converted to Christianity. So, there's that whole story. But anyways, Nabeel Qureshi currently is a Christian apologist. He's debated several Muslim apologists over the years. He's written a book called Seeking Allah, Finding Jesus. And he's written another book. I don't remember the title, but he's written books about Christianity and Islam. He's a Christian apologist. He's got his own website, etc., etc. So Nabeel Qureshi is a Pakistani Christian apologist. He claims he was a Muslim, but he was an Ahmadi Muslim. So he was never a Sunni Muslim. He wasn't like me. He wasn't like a Sunni Muslim. He was always he was an Ahmadi Muslim. In Ahmadi Islam or Ahmadi Muslims, they don't follow Orthodox, Sunni Orthodox Islamic practices. They have their own views about prophethood, who can come after. They say that there's a prophet who came after the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So that automatically disqualifies them as Orthodox Muslims. They also claim that Ghulam Ahmad was the coming of the Messiah. He was Ghulam Ahmad was the Mahdi, or he was the second coming of Jesus. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, prophesied that Jesus would come back in the last days, before the end times, before the apocalypse, before the day of judgment. Jesus will come back and he'll fight the Antichrist and stuff like that. But the Ahmadi Muslims claim that already happened in the late 1800s. Ghulam Ahmad was the Mahdi in Jesus, and he was another prophet. So there's all kinds of there's that whole nonsense. So that automatically, if you claim prophethood after Muhammad, peace be upon him, if you claim to be the Mahdi or Jesus, that automatically disqualifies you as a Muslim. That automatically, as a Orthodox Muslim, that automatically, then you're not a Muslim anymore. So Nabeel Qureshi was part of that cult that originated in India, Pakistan. Ahmadi Muslims are mostly Indian and Pakistani. There's absolutely no Arab Ahmadi Muslims out there. It's only concentrated in Pakistan and India. So Nabeel Qureshi was never an Orthodox Muslim. He was always an Ahmadi. He didn't know basic teachings of Islam and stuff like that. So I don't consider him apostate from Islam. He was just never a Muslim to begin with. He just left one deviant form of Islam, and he went to Christianity, thanks to the Christian hate monger David Wood, who's become more and more creepier and more of a hate monger as the years went on. But anyways, this video is not about David Wood. It's about Nabeel Qureshi. Nabeel Qureshi, a few months ago, I think in August or July, a few weeks ago, he announced on Facebook that he has stomach cancer, that he has a terminal, or he has an advanced stomach cancer, and he's suffering because of it. So I'm making this video to give my thoughts on that, because I know Nabeel Qureshi. I've met him. He's moderated my debate with David Wood. So I actually do know Nabeel Qureshi. I've met him personally. My overall thoughts on this is, there's some Muslims who are saying that Nabeel Qureshi got stomach cancer because he's talking against Islam and the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Basically, Nabeel Qureshi is blaspheming against Allah, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the Quran and stuff like that. Basically, Nabeel Qureshi is another version of David Wood. Just like David Wood's a hopeless hate monger against Islam, to the point where a lot of Muslims don't want anything to do with him because he's gone, to the extreme in his hate mongering. Nabeel Qureshi is kind of different, as in he's a Christian apologist, and he's trying to, make a name for himself as being an international Christian apologist. He's, traveling all around the world, giving talks and lectures and etc. about Jesus and stuff like that. About Christianity and Islam. He's pretending to be he's claiming to be some kind of expert on Islam, despite the fact that, he doesn't know fundamentals or basic fundamentals of Islam. He's pretending to go out there and, just try to make a name for himself as some kind of expert on Christianity and Islam. Basically, he's trying to do the Bart Ehrman approach. The Bart Ehrman approach is anybody who claims to leave a religion, who says they left the religion and then they're an expert on the religion. That's not going to happen. Bart Ehrman is a exceptional case to that. No one is ever going to imitate Bart Ehrman. No one can come close. No one's going to do that, whether they're Muslim, Jew, Christian, whatever. Bart Ehrman is a unique case, and he's going to stay a unique case. But Nabeel Qureshi has no qualifications in Islam. He never knew anything about Islam. He never knew anything about Orthodox Islamic teachings. Just talking to him. I remember when I was talking to him, he didn't know too much about Islam. It was just like internet stuff he knew about Islam, or and his parents, his family never practiced Orthodox Islam. Because I've actually talked to one of his family members. I'm not going to reveal their names, but I'm not going to reveal who that person is for their own protection. But I've actually talked to one of Nabeel Qureshi's family members, and they were like, no, we never practiced Orthodox Islam. We never practiced Sunni Islam. So I talked to one of his family members on Facebook a few years ago. I don't know if that family member is still on Facebook. It doesn't look like it. You know what? Let me check right now whether they're still on Facebook or not. No, they're not on Facebook. So I don't know what happened. Maybe they deactivated or they left. Facebook's kind of dying anyways. But anyways, that person told me that they never followed, Sunni Islam. They never knew anything about Sunni Islam. So, Nabeel Qureshi was never, ever, ever an Orthodox Muslim. He was never a Sunni Muslim. He never followed Islam the way it should be followed. He always followed a deviant form of Islam, and that's not really his fault. It's not his parents' fault. It was just, what they were raised into, what they were born into. Nabeel Qureshi's family is from Pakistan, and Pakistan has a sizable amount of Ahmadi Muslims, so his parents were born into that deviant form of Islam. It's not his fault. It's just, he was born into it. He wasn't like I was born into the right Islam, the Orthodox Islam. That wasn't the case with Nabeel Qureshi, and that wasn't the case with Farhan Qureshi. So there's some kind of connection between Nabeel Qureshi and Farhan Qureshi. Nabeel Qureshi and Farhan Qureshi never practiced like Orthodox Islam, and both of them left Orthodox Islam. So I think there's a pattern here. If you're born and raised an Ahmadi Muslim, then you're not following the real Islam, and you're eventually going to leave the fold of Islam because you never had the correct understanding of Islam to begin with. It doesn't matter if your teacher is David Wood or or Nader Ahmad. if you're not no, Farhan Qureshi was influenced by Nader Ahmad, and Farhan Qureshi became a Sunni Orthodox Muslim. But Nabeel Qureshi was influenced by Christian hate monger David Wood, and Nabeel Qureshi went into Christianity. So both Farhan and Nabeel, they were never born into Sunni Islam. They were never born into Orthodox Islam. It's true, Farhan Qureshi became a Sunni Muslim. That's true. That's correct. But then he left it because he didn't know too much about Islam. And then now he's a universalist or some nonsense like that. So, but that's fine. I mean, I don't really pay attention to Farhan Qureshi these days. I don't care about him. Let him do his own thing. That's up to him. I don't even know where he is these days. I haven't had contact with Farhan Qureshi in over 4 years, so I don't know what he's up to, and that's fine. But Nabeel Qureshi's stomach cancer has become news in the apologetic community, in the Muslim community, in the Christian community. He made a big Facebook announcement of it. He's gotten a lot of likes about it. He's gotten at least like 30,000 responses to it, like likes on the note. So it's going around on Muslim YouTube channels. That's how I found out that he has stomach cancer, by an Islamic apologetic YouTube channel called Muslim by Choice. Then I looked into that news, and it's confirmed that Nabeel Qureshi does have stomach cancer. So my thoughts on this are, there are some Muslims saying that Nabeel Qureshi has been cursed with stomach cancer because he rejected the Quran and Allah and Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in the Quran. And he's basically criticizing Islam openly. So some Muslims are saying because he's criticizing Islam openly, Allah Almighty gave him stomach cancer, and now he's suffering because of it. And some Muslims are saying Nabeel Qureshi is a sellout, even though, how can he be a sellout when he was never a Muslim to begin with? But anyways, they're saying he's a sellout, and because of his selling out, because of his criticizing Islam, in order to get fame for himself or attention for himself, just like David Wood has become a hate monger just to draw attention to himself. Nabeel Qureshi is also doing that, but he's doing that in a different way. He's trying to build himself as an apostate from Islam to Christianity, saying, look, I was born and raised to Islam, and I woke up and smelled the coffee, and now I'm following Christianity, when in reality he was never a Muslim to begin with. So some Muslims are saying because of Nabeel Qureshi's behavior to Islam, Allah Almighty gave him stomach cancer to punish him. Now, my thoughts on that is, as Muslims, we shouldn't be saying that. I don't know why. Who knows why Nabeel Qureshi got stomach cancer? There's no Muslim should say that's Allah's punishment to him, because we don't know what Allah has, planned for Nabeel Qureshi. Who are we? We're submitters to God. We're not God. You see, we don't know Allah's infinite wisdom and plans. We don't know why Nabeel Qureshi got stomach cancer. So we Muslims should seriously stop saying Nabeel Qureshi's got cursed with stomach cancer. We don't know why he got stomach cancer. I mean, maybe he just wasn't having a healthy lifestyle. That's possible. Maybe he was, eating some stuff or drinking some stuff he really shouldn't have. It happens. We Muslims shouldn't say he was cursed and stuff like that. I think I don't think that's the right way to go. I don't think that's the mature way to go. Why he got stomach cancer, I don't know. If it's true that Allah's cursing Nabeel Qureshi, why isn't he cursing Farhan Qureshi? Why is Farhan Qureshi fine? If Farhan Qureshi left Islam, that's a huge sin. That's a huge that's kind of a big deal, leaving Islam for, even though Farhan Qureshi is not a Muslim basher, or he's not an Islamic basher like David Wood is. He's a peaceful apostate to universalism or agnosticism or whatever he's following these days. That's still a huge thing. He left Islam. That's, you just don't leave Islam and walk away from that in the afterlife. There's huge consequences for that. But Farhan Qureshi's fine. So he's not. Farhan Qureshi committed a huge. He became a kuffar. He became a rejecter of Islam, and he's fine. I mean, he's walking around fine. There's no news of him being sick or having stomach cancer or I'm sorry, having any kind of cancer or anything like that. So Farhan Qureshi's fine. He's still, making YouTube videos and, annoying Muslims, annoying, people with his, universalism nonsense. And Nabeel Qureshi is, he did his thing and he got stomach cancer. So, why did Allah punish Nabeel Qureshi, not Farhan Qureshi? I mean, they both left Islam, even though Nabeel Qureshi was never a Orthodox Muslim. He was never a Sunni Muslim. He still claims that he left Islam. He's still bragging about leaving Islam. And Farhan Qureshi also left Islam, even though both of these people were never raised in the right Islam. They both claim to leave Islam. I mean, Farhan Qureshi's fine. He's still annoying on YouTube. He's still, talking about his universalism and his Indian heritage and all that nonsense. And he's fine. Why is Nabeel Qureshi cursed with stomach cancer and not Farhan Qureshi? We Muslims, we have to be consistent here. We have to look at the facts. Nabeel Qureshi is not cursed. I don't know why he got stomach cancer. Hopefully he does recover from it, even though him and I have had our differences over the years. Nabeel Qureshi insulted the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and I took that, very seriously. I took that as an offense. And him and I got into arguments about, his demeanor or his attitude towards the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Because Nabeel Qureshi is just copying off David Wood in a way, because David Wood is just a hate monger against Islam. He'll show no respect David Wood will never show any respect for Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, or Islam or the Quran or anything like that. He'll always be a hate monger against Islam. He'll always be a critic of Islam. You see, he'll always, so David Wood's just a hopeless case. I don't really want anything to do with him. I think Muslims are just wasting their time with him. But so I don't pay any attention to David Wood. But I thought Nabeel Qureshi would be better than that. I thought he would conduct himself in a more respectful way when criticizing Islam. There are several atheists like Dr. Richard Carrier, who show a lot of respect when they're criticizing Islam, and I admire that. But Nabeel Qureshi just wouldn't do that. He would just, criticize the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, saying the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is this and that. I don't even want to repeat what he was saying. But Nabeel Qureshi would insult the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And I told him, if you want discussions if you want, respectful conversations, if you want a dialogue with Muslims, then you have to be respectful to Muslims and what they believe. We believe Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is one of the best examples for mankind. But Nabeel Qureshi wouldn't, he would just insult the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and I found that offensive. So that was my whole disagreement with Nabeel Qureshi a few years ago. After that, I didn't want anything to do with him, even though I was trying to be respectful to him and trying to talk to him in a reasonable way. He was insulting the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, way too much, and I took that offensively. Because I expect those things from, people like David Wood. I don't expect those things from. I thought I wouldn't expect that from Nabeel Qureshi, but when you're influenced by someone like David Wood, then shades of David Wood are going to come out in that person. So So after that, I didn't have any contact with him. And then there was that whole Arab Fest incident, and after that, everybody just was annoyed with both Nabeel Qureshi and David Wood. It's unfortunate that he got stomach cancer. I do hope that he recovers from it. I don't have anything personal against him. I do hope sincerely that he does recover from it. I don't wish that on him. He seems like a decent person, but when it comes to talking about Islam, that's when shades of David Wood come out. So that's what I don't like about him. But other than that, Nabeel Qureshi is a decent person. I don't think he's not a nasty figure. He's not like James White. He's not a nasty person. He's actually a decent person. He's actually a nice person. So I don't know why he got that stomach cancer, but hopefully he does recover. If he's watching this video, Nabeel, I do hope you recover from stomach cancer. Even though you and I haven't seen eye to eye, I do hope you recover from that stomach cancer, and I'm sorry to hear that. But why it happened, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a doctor. I don't know any of that stuff. But hopefully he does recover from it. So that's my thoughts on Nabeel Qureshi and his news, his sad news. Hopefully he does recover. We Muslims should stop saying he's cursed with stomach cancer, because if Nabeel Qureshi as an apostate got stomach cancer because of the way he's criticizing Islam, then how come Farhan Qureshi is walking around fine? Both of these people claim to be apostates. That's like a huge sin in Islam. That's a huge no in Islam. That's a huge that's a huge thing. That's a huge sin against Islam and Allah and stuff like that, is apostasy. And Farhan Qureshi is fine. He's walking around, he's annoying people. God knows what he's doing these days. I don't even know what he's doing these days. But Farhan Qureshi is still annoying people on YouTube. So he's still active on YouTube. He's fine. So if we Muslims are saying Nabeel Qureshi is cursed with stomach cancer, if he's cursed with cancer by God, then how come God didn't curse Farhan Qureshi? We have to be consistent. We have to look at it. We can't just isolate cases. We have to look at the whole thing in context. So this whole claim that Nabeel Qureshi is cursed with stomach cancer is, in my humble opinion, is very silly. And we Muslims should stop using that. That thing. Another theory that's going around is Nabeel Qureshi is faking the whole thing. Somebody on YouTube was bringing up the theory that Nabeel Qureshi is a Christian apologist, right? He's a Christian apologist. He's well known. He's a New York Times bestseller, so he's well known in America and Europe and stuff like that as a leading Christian apologist. So the theory goes that Nabeel Qureshi is faking having cancer, stomach cancer, and then a few months later he's gonna claim that he kept praying to Jesus, and that Jesus cured him. So some people are claiming there's a theory going around that Nabeel Qureshi is faking the whole thing, and that Nabeel Qureshi is going to be praying to both Allah and Jesus, and then he's going to say that I prayed more to Jesus and Jesus healed me, and Allah didn't heal me. Thus, Christianity is true and Islam is false. So there's some theories going around that Nabeel Qureshi is just faking the whole thing in order to, say Jesus cured him and saying, there you go, Christianity triumphs Islam. I think that's complete BS. If Nabeel Qureshi is faking the whole thing just to, say Jesus healed him, and to boast his Christian apologetic ministry, then I think that's brilliant. I think that's a brilliant scam. It's a better scam than anything David Wood brought up or could bring up. So that's actually brilliant. But who knows it doesn't look like he's faking. I mean, why would he go through all that just to, you know, why would he do that? That's kind of bizarre if he's just faking the whole thing. But you know, who knows? You know, who knows what the real story is? It looks like he legitimately has cancer, stomach cancer. So just to end, because I think I'm going on way too long, I do hope that Nabeel Qureshi, you know, recovers from the cancer. I don't have anything personal against him. I don't have anything against him. I haven't been paying attention to him over the years. So you know, but hopefully he does recover. You know, he is a fellow human being. You know, he might have different theological, you know, ideologies, but he is a human being. And at the end of the day, you know, he's a human. He's a fellow human, and you know, hopefully he does recover from it. So hopefully he does recover from stomach cancer. So Nabeel, if you're watching this, I hope you do recover. You know, you and I have had our differences over the years, but you know, I sincerely hope that you recover from that stomach cancer as one human being to another. Now, why he got that stomach cancer, I don't know, but we Muslims should stop saying that he's cursed with stomach cancer, because we don't know, we don't have the answers. So anyways, that's my thoughts on Nabeel Qureshi having stomach cancer. Stay tuned. I'm going to have Dr. Richard Carrier on my YouTube channel very soon. So that's happening. So thanks for watching. Assalamu alaikum.